Yo guys, welcome back to another League Racing video on the channel. Today we are here with WOR round number 5, the Monaco Grand Prix, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get onto that, these are the standings from Kota last time out. We are currently sat in P6 with 24 points, currently around 7 points behind P5 and then around 16 to P4, so we are definitely still in the fight for a top 4 in this championship. And a big point of the season is going to be this race, because only 11 people are wanting to race Monaco, and that's going to leave us with a big chance to gain some points. You can see with our last lap in the top left, we are currently in P3 going on to our second run of the qualifying session, and there is a lot of time in this lap. And Monaco is such a difficult track to get right, and it was a track that I absolutely hated before I had to do this race. I was absolutely dreading this round of the calendar. Same with Baku next week. They're both back-to-back, and they're in similar boats for me in terms of how much I like the track. But we're up about a 10th going into the very slow middle sector. We set the fastest first, but I don't know how accurate that is on this game. It often likes to just give you purple sectors for no reason. But as I was saying, I don't like this track. But actually, after I practiced this track for a little bit, I actually started to quite like it, and that's probably being reflected with the fact that I'm currently sat in P3 and half a tenth, or 1.5 tenths up now, into the hairpin. We're absolutely sending it. We lock up a little bit on entry, but we gain a lot of time on exit, and now we're into one of the funnest sectors on the entire calendar, the last sector. We have purple in the middle as well, and we're absolutely sending it. Marco's out of the session, he's crashed out, and we've lost a little bit of time, and we run really deep into the really difficult Raskas, and through the last corner we gain some more time back, and on the run up to the line, where is that going to put us? 2 tenths improvement, and we stay P3 with a 109.6, which I am kind of happy with at this point. But I was saying how much I dreaded this round, but I had to race it no matter how much I hated it, because as long as we can survive in the race, then a lot of people will DNF and we'll pick up a lot of points. But into our last run of qualifying, up into the hairpin, we're not up a lot, so we have to absolutely send it. And we invalidate our lap, and we are dropped down to P6 before that incident. We're still trying to send it through the last few corners just to see where it would have put us, because we didn't gain much time. But we're 3.5 tenths up now, because we're absolutely nailing the final sector until Raskas, where we run a bit deep again. But we're still gaining a lot of time. And what time is this going to give us? Where would it have put us if we didn't invalidate it? It's a 3:43, and I'm pretty disappointed with that, because that time would have put us P5, and though it is only 2 positions up the road, starting P7 in Monaco is nearly impossible to make any moves unless people crash out and unless people make mistakes. But we're going into the race now, and a lot of people are going to DNF this, so as long as we can keep our wing clean and keep our wheels on the car, we should pick up a lot of points today. And it is a mandatory 2-stop, so we're going to start on the softs, and we're going to do a little bit of a different strategy. The Haas in P9 is doing it as well, but it is 5 red lights, and away we go in Monaco. Daniel Mas is disconnected in front of us, but he manages to get back in the session just about. With 3 wide, we have to back out into turn 1. We're not trying to lose any positions here. Wings flying. We have a bit of a moment, but we're side by side with Daniel Mas up the hill into the casino section. Hanging around the outside, we run a little bit deep and we have to concede the position. It wouldn't be smart to stay side by side through there. But as we are on the soft tyres and everyone is on the mediums, so theoretically we should be quicker right now. And unfortunately, we didn't gain any positions off the start, which is why I put on the softs and a lot of people put on the mediums, because we have similar strategy ideas, but I just didn't make up any moves. I just wanted to make some moves at the start. And behind us, there is a bit of an incident, and Marco's dropped 1.7 seconds back, and that's already good for us because that's separated the top 7. And as long as we can all stay in a train, then, you know, there will be incidents later on in the race. But the reason we started on the softs is because I was considering boxing at the end of lap 1, because it is a mandatory 2-stop. But the mediums and the hards go really long on this track. They are actually not bad for tyre wear at all. So I was considering going lap 1, but I decided to stay out one more. And some people behind us are boxing. Yeah, Wash the V car behind started on the softs. He's boxed. He's actually the only one that is boxed on lap 1. But he's going to get not a great undercut, because we're all still on, like, you know, 2 lap old tyres. But cutting to the end of lap 2, I also was considering boxing now. A car ahead is boxed, but we stayed out again. And Vettel ahead of us is boxed, and I thought someone else at the back would box. No one else is boxed, but Vettel in front of us has boxed, but he had wing damage. And honestly, you can see the gap now is 1.2 seconds to the car ahead. We're really struggling through turn 1. And this is when I'm realizing we really should have boxed lap 2. We're definitely going to box on lap 3 though. But unfortunately, Casper and Daniel ahead of us have all boxed, so the undercut that I wanted to get with this strategy hasn't worked because we've actually just stayed out 1 lap too late. I think I was just a bit panicked on what I wanted to do, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do in the race, so it was a bit of a made up on the fly strategy. So unfortunately we're not going to undercut anyone, and Daniel, Mess and Casper are now just a legitimate 3 seconds ahead of us, which is really bad, and that's not what I wanted at all. So we've made a bit of a mistake there staying out that extra lap, but because Vettel had a wing change, you can see he is actually 2 positions behind us now, but luckily we have come out ahead of Marco, who I believe boxed on one of the laps, but he had a big undercut. And up ahead, Daniel Mess has spun, and we are lucky that ghosting is on, so we can just drive right through him, else we would have definitely got wing damage there. But that's a free position. He was 3 seconds up the road, now he's behind us, and behind the car behind us. So that's really crucial for our race, because it would have been difficult to overtake him. And as long as the cars that are faster than us are behind us, we have a chance in this race, because we can just sit back and we can sit in the middle of the track and defend. But saying that, we skip ahead to lap 10. A few people have boxed, not many. No one important has boxed for our race. And Casper has built the gap to 8.7 seconds ahead of me. And when we came out the pits, he was 3.8. So he's gained 5 seconds on us in 7 laps, which is fair enough. He is a very quick driver, and I didn't really expect to be keeping up with him. Especially since Monaco is such a high skill gap track, and it's a track that I only have driven on this game on the day of this race, on the day of the practice. And a lot of people on this game love to drive Monaco, and it is really a case of you're really good at Monaco or you're not good at Monaco. There is not really an in-between. You either love the track or you hate the track. You're either really quick or you're really slow. And I honestly think I've managed to find a mid-ground, and I think I am just mid at this track, because I enjoy driving it, but I am kind of slow, but I'm also not impossibly slow. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but on lap 12 now, Vettel has been right behind us, right up our gearbox for so long, and we don't have any battery to defend right now, so he is going to have a run at us up the hill. We leave the outside free, and he hangs it around the outside, and we're not going to stay side by side through the next corner, because that is a death sentence. So we end up letting him go, and we held him back for around 3 laps, which isn't terrible because Vettel is, again, another quick driver. He is a lot quicker than me, and yeah, he did just get unfortunate with the wing damage at the start of the race, because when he boxed, he really should have been in front of us, but he had to change his wing, so it's unlucky that he ended up being behind us. He definitely should have been a lot further ahead in this race. On to lap 12 now, LMB making his first pit stop off the mediums. He's left that really late, so he's got a much different strategy than anyone else on this track today. And same with Alfie as well in the kick. He has also stayed out very long. Same with NSR. There's a lot of varying strategies here. Most people opted to box really, really early though, and I think that is the safer strategy, because if you overcut like those guys are doing, NSR's out in a good place, but that's only because he was out in clean air and he was leading, so he's not got too many cars to overtake. He is sat in P5. But obviously, Monaco is a near impossible track to make overtakes on, so if you overcut, you're not in a great spot. The undercut is the prime strategy here. But saying that, we have got no battery. It's a similar situation to Vettel. He doesn't decide to go for a move right now though, and NSR is going to have a bit of a run. But we are just going to defend the inside, park on the apex. We run a slight bit deep, but he's not going to be able to do anything. He runs it around the outside, but he just, again, you can't go side by side here. And Alfie has crashed out the session, and I'm surprised that isn't actually a safety car, because he is legitimately crashed in the casino section. He's legitimately out of the race. He took a wheel off his car. So I'm pretty surprised that that wasn't a safety car, but I think I'm lucky that it wasn't. I'm not really sure how I'd feel about a safety car at this moment, because we are running in P4. I know we have NSR behind us, putting us under a lot of pressure, but we are legitimately in P4, and this would be an amazing finish for me. I am already okay with a P4, even a P5, honestly. because Monaco, I was not happy for this track. And we actually lock up a lot, and we end up running deep, and that leaves NSR a chance to go up the inside, and we end up just backing out again. Because it really wasn't worth, like, you know, staying side by side in the last corner. We will get damage there. There is no doubt in my mind. So, you know, fair enough. He put me under a lot of pressure. He did force me into a mistake, so completely alright that he's overtaken us, and he has gapped us by around 2 seconds. In the next few laps, it actually wasn't as much of a gain for him as I thought. But on lap 19, we are going to come into the box, and Vettel ahead of us is also in the box. And this is, again, to try and have a bit of an undercut on the guys ahead of us, and the undercut is big on this track. It's not as big as it is on some tracks, but it is still very nice. And we've actually managed to box into an amazing position. And Lumi is retired from the session at the chicane. And again, it's not a safety car, but he was leading the race. And you can see now, we're just going to overtake where he crashed. He crashed on the inside wall there, and we are now up into P6 as the leader, leading by 16 seconds, has put it into the wall on his own. And that is not what you want to see if you're Lumi. I'm absolutely loving it though, and I'm not going to complain at all. And that is just, I'll just take a free position. That's what I mean when I was saying earlier about just surviving the race, because people will crash. Lumi's a really good driver, and he's just crashed out the session. We overtake NSR and Kraken in the pits. They stayed out 4 laps longer than me, and the undercut, huge, as I was saying. We're going to see the gap now, just about. We're going to see the pit turn to a time, and yeah, 7 seconds, and he was 2.5 ahead of us when we boxed. So we've gained 9 seconds on him since we undercut at over 4 laps. Now that is insane. He is going to have a lot of pace on us now for the rest of this race. But we've got the track position, and we're going to have to try and fight him again. And this is what I mean about the overcut strategy not working too well. Because now he's got a lot to do, and you just kind of have to be really brave the entire race. Whereas if you undercut, you can just use your pace and just, you know, hold position. LMB now, from P3, he is boxed. We cross the line and we overtake him, and we are legitimately P3 in this race. We have made our 2 stops. The cars ahead have both made their 2 stops. They're both right on each other, so they can still have an incident, and maybe we can pick up the scraps, maybe even win this race. And that's crazy to say, because this is Monaco. This is not a track I've driven at all. This is not a league I should be doing this well in. It's not. I really thought at the start of this season I would barely be fighting for podiums, but we've been fighting for podiums a lot more consistently than I would have thought. And behind us, NSR has gained around 1.5 seconds, and Vettel is retired from the session. That's what I mean about cars making mistakes. The guy in P2 has crashed out the race in the exact same spot Lumi did, and now we're driving past him again, and we are P2 in this race. The 2 cars behind us are on fresher tyres. Casper's going to get a free stop under the VSC, but we are in an incredible spot, and P2 is a legitimate chance. And with the way that the cars ahead are driving, Casper could also crash out, and that is incredible. Casper doesn't box, but Vettel has left the session, and you may be wondering why it's went to a black screen, and that's because Vettel is the lobby host. And because he left the session, the entire lobby's crashed. Vettel has just nuked the lobby, and we're not going to get a restart. And that's the end of the race. We were sat provisionally in P2, and Luke said, we were having a massive debate about this, we will take the results from when you crossed the line on lap 24, as everyone did 2 stops. And we were P3 when we crossed the line, because LMB had just completed a 2nd stop, and we crossed the line in P3. But we had a legitimate chance for P2. And somehow, Vettel has scammed a P2 out of that. And he crashed out the race. Vettel crashed out the race, and he still picks up all the points for a P2. Because there was nothing legitimately in the rules about a situation like this happening. So the owner, you know, the guy making the stewards, whatever, they couldn't disqualify him. They couldn't take away his points because of a flaw in their rulebook. And this has been changed now, but unfortunately we just have to deal with it. And though a P2 was incredibly likely in that race, we have to settle for a P3. And it's very conflicting feelings, because That's my first podium of the season. I'm incredibly happy with my points finishes. We've can finishes in the point 5 out of 5 races. We've got a podium. But I was really enjoying that race, I'm going to be honest. I am a bit just annoyed as a competitive standpoint that we couldn't just see how that race ended, because I was really enjoying myself. And it was a really anticlimactic and stressful ending to the race, because I really should have got the P2, let's be honest. Like, Vettel DNF'd out the race, but he keeps the P2. I don't get it, really. But anyway, these are the standings after Monaco, I guess. Just like that, it's a very sudden end to the race, because, you know, the screen just went black. You know, we were in a really interesting phase of the race, and it just ends. But these are the standings, I guess. We still sit P6, but now we've closed the gap to the guy that was in P4 to about 4 points. So we're 4 points behind P5, 14 points behind Casper and P4, who gets the win for that. He deserved the win, but you never know. He might have crashed in a similar way to Lumi and Vettel did. I'm not going to say I wasn't gifted some positions there, and it was a very fortunate P3, but I was driving a decent race, and you've got to be in it to win it at the end of the day. A lot of people didn't show up to this race because it was Monaco, and they didn't want to have to stress about it, but you know, it is what it is. We get the points. We get the first podium of the season, and I'm very happy with where I'm sat in this league right now. I'm really enjoying myself here. It's really competitive. It's really fun, and I'm proving myself to myself a lot more than I thought I would. But yeah, this is the next round is calendar for the rest of the season. Azerbaijan is the next round, and there is a week break in between Monaco and Baku. But as I'm recording this, I've actually already done Baku. But it's another situation to Monaco where I'm not happy for the track to come up, but then I do the practice and I actually kind of enjoy it. And the race went slightly better than expected, and that will be out in the next few days, hopefully, because I apologise for not uploading, but I've been very busy with work and school. And yeah, it's just, I'm finally getting a chance to record a video. Maybe I'll record another one later today, which would be Baku. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe. I'm sorry for the abrupt ending, and I'm sorry for the yap. But if you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.